What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Heavenly Delusion, episode 8. As usual, timer-based reaction is on YouTube. Picture-in-picture version is in the description below. So, grab your copy of the episode if you're still watching on YouTube because the countdown for the timer starts now. It's been a while since I've actually watched Heavenly Delusion, if I'm being honest. Like, if you weren't in the know, I took a break, so it's been more than 2 weeks, I would say, 2-3 weeks since the last time I watched Heavenly Delusion, which was episode 7. Hopefully I still remember about a lot of things. I don't know, part of the reason why I love watching weekly is because I could still retain some of that memory, and sometimes if there's a long period of time between watching, obviously there's gonna be some information that I'm probably gonna forget. So, and I should have probably rewatched some of the previous episodes, but hopefully I still retain some of that memory. I mean, last time we got introduced to Dr. Usami, and he has a job for us, and he wants somebody killed and somebody be protected. Oh, the ever-watching crow. Or is it a raven? Pretty sure it's a crow. Oh! Well, technically, you threw it first. Bald Dude was trying to impress her, and went absolutely terribly. Some of the limbs that they lost. So that's what they're going for, huh? They got their reasons. That needs some oil. Yeah. Mm. Showing the two different sides. So who's the bad guy here? Right? Alright, here's the reveal. Ah, the same disease. Hmm. Right, right. Tying it back to like the... Mm-hmm. Hmm. Alright, alright. We know this. Or at least we're getting to know more about the disease. Can't be stopped? Ah, okay. Hmm. Is that his daughter, perhaps? Could be someone we know. Whoa. That was cool. Wow. Love the way they animated that. Hoshio. I love some of these shots. Love that. Black and white. But not everything is black and white. Wow. Yeah. Seeing that human side. Meanwhile, the other human side. Who's that? Hmm. Well, this is bad. I can kind of see where this episode is gonna go. Emotionally as well. Whatever's happening is not important. This. This is important. Wow. Wow. Beautiful imageries. Our final words. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that got me. Wow. She's gone. Yeah. Hmm. Wow. Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Wow. This episode. They missed one. Shit. Hmm. They know Robin. Oh, okay. Doctor. Huh. I still have feelings for Robin though. Like if you've seen my discussion, you know how I feel about him and what I think he does. Okay. It is that same logo. And he has a pistol. No, 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 no. Man, this episode. Speechless for most of it. Love this acapella version. Or, well, not an acapella version, but the slow guitar version of the ED. Wow. Wow, the direction in this episode was really good. Huh. Oh. Why are you here? Dream? Metaphor for the disease? Excuse me, what the? Wait, what? Maru? What do you what do you mean you don't remember anymore? We need answers, we need information. Who was that? Okay. You know, I didn't really talk that much during this episode, but I was just so enthralled with like the overall presentation of this episode. Like it was really good. Like great even. Heck, I would even say it's probably my favorite episode of the show so far. Its ability to showcase all of these emotions and, you know, like the, I guess the message of the episode and the theme of it, just through all of these beautiful sceneries, these beautiful shots and cinematography, just an excellent way of showcasing visual storytelling. Like you understand what is going on without the characters having the need to explain further, and just having seen this character Hoshio, who we only met for like this one specific episode. Like we haven't really seen her in the previous episode. We've only seen glimpses of her, right? We don't really get to know her that much. But her very short screen time in this episode, like only for a minute or two, but what she represents, not just her, but also Dr. Usami as well, like what they represent within the story is, to me, profoundly beautiful. It's that human nature, that human element of clinging into hope, whatever it may be. And I guess the heartbreaking part is when that hope is gone, when you have nobody else to, to hold your hand, then you get people like Dr. Usami, who, at the end of the episode, no longer sees that hope anymore. That hope is gone. That hope is Hoshio, and Hoshio has passed away, and he sadly took his life. A couple of seconds later, Maru and Kiriko comes in, walks up, sees their dead bodies. Maru having this really, really sad moment of realizing that his hands are used to kill and used to brought death to everybody else. And to me, at that point, if it weren't for Kiriko being there as well, holding his hand as well, I feel like Maru would have gone the same path as Dr. Usami, as in, how could you live like that, right? It's the fact that there's at least one other person in your life that wants you to live, that gives you purpose, that fills in that hole that you cannot fill yourself, right? If you can't see the worth in yourself, then why are you here, right? That's why somebody came in. That's why Kiriko is there. He is filling that hole. And I find that to be beautiful. It's a very simple message. And tugging at my heartstrings. Like, you can say that it's emotionally manipulating me because it is a very touchy subject of like, hey, yeah, sick patient who wants to see the sky for the very last time. Yes, it's really sad, and it can happen to a lot of things. Like, it's not like this is a fantasy. I mean it is, but like that specific moment that can happen, and it has happened. You know what I mean? So it is. It may be tugging my heartstrings. It may be okay, show, you got me. But at this point, I'm like, do I really care? No. The point of that moment is to make me sad and to make me feel things, and I feel sad and I feel things. So the show does its job really well, and I feel like it is earned because of what it's trying to say, right? The message, the theme of this show, or specifically the theme of this episode, right? It's about hope and just giving it to people, right? Hoshio being let outside and seeing the sky for one last time is giving her one last hope, right? It's giving her her final dream, granting it, so she could die not just in peace, but die human. So overall, in terms of like the theme of the episode, like what this episode's trying to do, I think it is beautiful. Like I said, it's profoundly beautiful. The pacing is really good as well. Along with the direction. I mean, the direction and the cinematography in this show has always been great, but in this episode specifically, it's a lot more nuanced and a lot more slow than other episodes, which kind of stands out more, and also makes me shut up during the episode, because obviously I don't really want to talk. I mean, sometimes I do want to talk. Sometimes I want to let out a lot of my thoughts so you guys can understand what I'm thinking of, especially for people who don't really, watch this segment, watch this discussion. People might be asking or wondering, like, why do you talk so much during the reaction from time to time? Like, even though I try to keep it as minimal as possible. But that's just because I just want to get across all of the thoughts that I had, because I know people don't really watch most of this discussion, so people will not necessarily know what I actually think about this episode. Most people don't even know, like, some of my theories and some of the things that I actually discussed. So it's like a conscious thing, but at the same time, when an episode is showcasing something this beautiful, I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna let the episode, do its thing. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna sit back and just experience what this episode is going to tell me. And what this episode told me is something that is beautiful. So in that regard, fantastic episode, one of the best episodes, if not the best episode of the show so far. But let's talk about like the more, I guess, the more plot related elements, because there are a lot in this episode. Um, a lot of things finally came into fruition, like some of our discussions from like the previous episodes, some of the things that I talked about were kind of revealed in this episode, or some of them even explored more. Um, the first thing that is obviously shown is the disease that Hoshio had is the same one that Taro had as well, right? This disease that is like slowly consuming them. And if my theory is correct that the the facility stuff with the children are all set in the past, so obviously they don't know why this is happening, they don't know what caused this, and even till this very day they have no idea what it is, right? It's almost cancerous in a way, right? It's this thing that you cannot cure, and it's always going to ravage your body until it takes over you, and then you became a monster, right? This man eater, right? And again, which we have talked about before, right? The theory of like the facility creating these things and creating these the babies that we saw before, right, that are clearly supposed to be these man-eaters, these monsters that that will later grow up to be. Getting a bit of that reveal in this episode, specifically that humans with the disease will become the man-eaters, is something that we should also take note. And aside from that, it's also that the logo, that coin, that insignia, whatever it is that Dr. Hoshio, sorry, Dr. Hoshio, Dr. Usami is holding at the end, right? Yeah. And I guess if we are going to talk about like the ending of this episode, which is the whole Kikihime stuff. Sorry, not Kikihime, Mimihime. Where was Kikihime from? Like, where was that name from? Either way, Mimihime and the dream that she had. Who is that? I think the nightmare that Mimihime had kind of resembles like the disease as well, kind of enveloping her, right? The darkness, but again, could be wrong. It could just may as well be a nightmare, and could just represent that they are being trapped in this facility, and it's slowly consuming them, and then they want to get out, right? But the dream that Mimihime always had is that somebody is going to save the day. Somebody's going to come into their place, and they are going to lead them out, right? They are going to save them and bring them to the outside world, right? And for me, it's always a theoretical. It's not even a theoretical. I am pretty much certain that the person that they are talking about is Maru, right? Maru being, as I theorized, to be Tokyo's son, with Kona being the father. That still remains to be seen, but the evidence is there, right? The clear cut evidence of like when he was born and the time framing between that and the apocalyptic event that happened. So I feel like we are slowly getting into that, I guess, climactic ending. It could be a good place to end this season, I feel like. Getting the reveal of like what truly happened during that moment. Though I could be wrong again, like I have no idea, like in terms of like the pacing of the show, because I don't know like its relations with the manga or anything, and honestly at this point of recording I've only had like the first episode up on YouTube, so I can't really read any of your comments in regards to like my theories and my discussions. Like I'm still talking blindly to the camera, like I have no idea whether or not the things that I have talked about is right, wrong, or there may be some things that I completely misinterpretate for 8 episodes, and I got it completely wrong this entire time. Like, I don't know. Like, I have nobody to talk to. I have nobody to, like, explain or to correct me or whatever. So I'm still in the dark currently. But yeah. All of that stuff is great. And I guess I cannot wait to see more. I don't know what else to discuss about this episode. I feel like the heaviness of that emotional impact in this episode was like enough. Like I don't really need to explain further than that. Most of the things that were introduced in this episode were the I guess the other organization, what are they called again? Hang on, let me the live humans. Are they the baddies? I do find it typical, but it's also like necessary to showcase like, you know, like the other side of the story, right? You meet these characters, these group of people in the previous episode, and they seem like they are the good guys, you know, like their reasonings and what they are after is understandable. So, right, you know, you protect the human body at all costs. Don't let us be your experiments or whatever, you know. And from their own words, yeah, I can understand why you feel that way, and I was almost on board with them until they actually show what is actually going on with the doctor and everything else in that facility, and then you realize, oh shit, no, they're actually doing something good. Like, it's not like they're the bad guys. No, it's just like, it's just the live humans are very much radicals. And if replacing parts of your body is meant to save you, then what are the moral implications? Like, is that a bad thing? A lot of people with prosthetics these days will say no, it is not a bad thing. It is a blessing for most people, and I feel like that's like the point, right? You may feel or you may see that is taking away part of your humanity, but at the same time it is a blessing because it is giving you your humanity back by keeping you alive. And I find that to be beautiful, and I feel like that's something that we need to discuss more in terms of like the morality and like the I guess the implications, right? Like, don't see it just for what it is, just see it for like what it represents for like the people involved, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna wrap my discussion there. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Kind of a short discussion, if you know, if I'm looking at the timer for the video right now, like it's not really a really long discussion, just like everything else. But yeah, I mean, we are 8 episodes in. This episode was mostly a thematic episode filled with a lot of emotions. Again, probably one of my favorite episodes of the show so far, but it is still a mystery show, and a lot of the questions have not been answered, and some of the questions we haven't gotten more clues yet. I mean, we did actually. No, we did. We got a lot of clues in this episode. I feel like it's just that we have discussed a lot of these clues in the past, and I feel like I just don't want to repeat myself. So, if you haven't already, go check out my previous episode discussions about like my feelings and my thoughts about the world of Heavenly Delusion. If you haven't already, because that should fill you in with like a lot of stuff. So, hope you guys enjoyed my discussion and my reaction to Heavenly Delusion episode 8. It has been a blast. And I will see you all next time for the next episode of this show. Take care. Have a nice day. Peace.